How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is David Cash Vasquez. You are on Grow Laredo, and of course, our first edition of Grow Yourself, episode number 1, featuring our very first guest, ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Castillo. And I couldn't think of anybody better than a native Laredoan who has expanded and grown from his craft and used the power of the mind, the power of motivation, the power of spirituality, the power of family to propel himself to just a higher level. And so, Jeff, man, thanks for being our first guest.
I appreciate you bringing me on, man. I really appreciate you bringing me on. I'm honored to be the first guest. This is part of history now.
It is. It's history in the making, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you, it's history in the making. So, Jeff, the reason I brought you on is because obviously you're a native Laredoan. Love to hear stories and love to see just anything from somebody from Laredo take their culture, take their background and use it as a stepping stone to grow.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot's happened, man.
Yeah.
You know, we go back since the days of Cine de Laredo. And when you were a young photographer, young videographer, putting out this dope product, it was just really advanced for that time. I mean, we're talking early 2000s.
Yeah. So
tell me a little bit about. A lot's happened.
Yeah, lots happened, man. Like I told you earlier, a lot can happen in a year. So when somebody's if you're down and out, you're like you have no. You're in a state of depression or you can't move forward. Just remember that a lot can happen in 1 year, man. If you just stick to it, if you believe in the project that you're working on, or if you don't have a project, find something that really calls your name and just get to it, man, because a lot of things can change in a year. And for me, I've gone through so many stages, man. So I'll backtrack a little bit about where I first started. And for me, it was the day that my wife, my girlfriend at the time, high school year, senior year, high school, she tells me that, hey, Jeff, I think we're pregnant. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? Who's the father?
No.
No. So I was a senior. I was a senior in high school, and I was in the process of applying for film school, for UT Film School. I wanted to be part of, I wanted to follow the footsteps of Robert Rodriguez, and he went to UT Film School. I wanted to go to UT Film School. And I found out that day that was not going to be possible, man. I was like, dude, I have to feed the family now. I have to take care of I had a little boy coming along the way. Me and my wife, ended up getting married. And I just knew that was my path to becoming a filmmaker was not going to be the same path that, the traditional route.
Things have changed forever.
Yeah, things have changed forever. There's no going back. And I love the whole responsibility thing, man. I was damn, dude, I'm needed in this world now,
Yeah, you have a purpose.
I have a purpose. So for me, it was all right, cool. How do I go about becoming a filmmaker without going the traditional route? And back then, there was this video that I saw about Robert Rodriguez also released a video how he quit film school to actually become a filmmaker. And for me, it was what do you mean? So the story is that he didn't want to be part of film school anymore. He's like, dude, I have enough. I have $7,000 saved. I want to spend it on making a movie. He made the movie Mariachi. Ended up getting that movie in Sundance, and then changed his life forever.
Right.
So right now he's got his own TV network now.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, if he did it, then I can do it. So that was kind of my philosophy, and I was like, I just have to figure out a way to be able to work, pay the bills, and then have enough free time to do my arts, right? Keep filming, keep learning film, keep learning photography, keep learning media, keep learning business. So I ended up opening up at the time it was a website. It was called LaredoSportsRush.com. I built it up to about, back in 2003, I was getting about 10,000 hits a day, and it's all local community. So think about it, 10%, maybe 5-10% of Laredo was actually on the website every single day. And what I would do on this website, because I was the only photographer, I was the only videographer, I was the only writer. Actually, when I started, I was the only person, and eventually I gotta give credit to my brother and my two brothers that came on board. I convinced him. I have two older brothers. I convinced them to jump on board, and one of my best friends, his name is David, also lives in San Antonio now. So they all jumped on board, and we learned how to build this like ecosystem of communities, and it was all sports related because we all love sports, man. I grew up playing sports,
right.
Every sport you can think of. I was trying to be a master at it. So it was a way for me to be part of the community, a way for me to make money and still learn about like film, still learn about the arts. And I kind of figured it out. Like I had this little formula, and I always knew that I had to keep on learning. I had to keep on like becoming better at my craft, no matter what. No matter I was working 40 hours, 50 hours on my my 8 to 5 job. I still had to have this side project. Like this was it. This was saving me every day,
right.
Like keeping me going. So eventually the website closed down, but we ended up keeping the studio. The studio changed to eventually Cine Laredo. And I had that photo studio, ended up shooting a lot of weddings, a lot of like, I went down the rabbit hole, man. Like did the whole wedding thing, started doing marketing for businesses, started doing like anything from business cards to like websites. And I was kind of like all over the place at the same time, man. I wasn't like, I look back at that moment from seeing that, yeah, we're creating a lot of great work, but we didn't have a direction, man. We didn't have that guidance of like, hey man, like, if you chant like, because I had this video in 2008, 2009 that went viral. It was back before there was viral videos.
Yeah.
It's a music video that I shot for one of my cousins from Chicago. He flew down to Laredo and he was like, "Hey man, I got a song that I want to shoot here in Laredo."
Yeah.
And the song was called Chicano.
I remember that.
Yeah. So we filmed the music video. Music video goes viral. It goes up on MTV. And at the time, I'm like, "Damn, dude! Like, we just shot this video like last week down the streets of Laredo. Like, one camera,
yeah,
no lights, like just straight up, like Robert Rodriguez style,
right?
On the budget, we shot the music video. Took about 3-4 days. Actually, we took 3 days to film the music video. We took another week to edit the video. We put it out to the world, and then it just people loved it, man. And I think about those times, like, man, if I just had a little bit more, like some type of mentorship, or I had a little bit more of somebody telling me, like, hey, man, like, you should go all in on music videos. Like, this is what you're good at.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking like, oh, like IBC just called me for a photo shoot. Let me go do a photo shoot for IBC.
Right.
Or
right.
I just got booked for another wedding, and I started doing all these projects. And a few years passed, man, and I was still like, I had progress in my work. My work had gotten better, but I was still doing the same type of jobs, getting paid the same amount of money. And I just knew that there was something that had to change, and it wasn't like me becoming a better artist anymore. It was more like, okay, I need to figure out like, what is it really that I want to do? This thing about being busy all the time is not working for me. Like, let me focus on what's calling my name. What did God bring me in this world to do? Right? What do I really want to put out to the world? What is it that I really want to look back a year from now and say, oh man, I'm glad I made that choice. So I started saying no to like 95% of things. And a lot of reasons I started saying no also, and this is one thing that my family always helped me out with. And I'm talking about my family, I might have not mentioned it, but by the time I was 23 years old, I had 4 kids, married, 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. So I saw my kids getting older, man, and every weekend I was shooting a wedding. There was a year that I shot 55 weddings, man.
I believe it.
Yeah, and every Friday, Saturday, like either Friday or Saturday or both, Friday and Saturday, I was booked. And I saw my kids getting older, and I was like, man, I gotta start saying no to these weddings, because even though they're making, it's providing for the family, I had a decent lifestyle, and I'm missing out on my kids, man. So I said, I think this is fast forward now to 2015, and I'll try to summarize this as fast as possible. But
no, it's all good. But before, okay, so it's 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So. Or this is pre-2015, right? You're shooting these weddings.
Shooting these weddings like crazy.
Friday and Saturday, you're booked.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting out some great content, great photos. You're making a name for yourself in terms of this, locally.
Yeah.
You touched on a couple of things. One of those things was that busy. Something in your head started clicking.
Yeah.
You're too busy.
I'm too busy.
Too busy.
Yeah. There's no time for.
There's no time for anything.
Reflection. Nothing.
There's no time for family.
There's no time for family.
There's no time for yourself.
Nothing.
You're just working. Yeah. You're busy.
Yeah. If you look at my pictures from 5 years ago and right now, I look younger right now than 5 years ago.
I mean, it happens because we get in this mode, especially if somebody is just really trying, and I think you're going somewhere with this, and you're probably gonna either correct me if I'm wrong, but you need to go somewhere, you just don't have that direction. This is 2015, right?
2015.
Okay.
So then, at the time, I was teaching high school, and I still had my studio. My studio name changed to Digital Republic, just to get some reference there. And there was about 9-10 people working with me at Digital Republic, and then I was teaching high school, and I was the CEO of the company, and I was a high school teacher teaching graphic design and photography, and I had a passion for teaching, man. I love teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I love spending time with kids, especially like kids that are at that age when I started like venturing out to becoming like where I needed the mentorship, right? I like mentoring those kids. And I told myself, I'm gonna shoot my last wedding. I'm gonna book my last wedding. And the only reason I booked my last wedding was because it was my best friend, one of my best friends growing up. He's like, Jeff, I want you to shoot my wedding, man. There's no you don't have a choice. Not like, just letting you know.
You got that one friend that's like, yo, man, you're booked.
You're booked.
You're booked.
Yeah.
He gave you the look.
Yeah. So I ended up charging them, and I told him, look, this is the price we'll pay, but I'm gonna do your wedding. And he paid me, and that was August of 2015. But before that, I hadn't booked weddings for about 6 months already, and it was a conscious decision of not doing that anymore. And the reason I didn't want to do it was because of all these things, man. Like being busy, like where do I want to go next? And I don't have an option when you're shooting like events like that are booked a year in advance. Like you don't have control of your life anymore. Like your calendar controls you. So it was like a rude awakening. I'm like, man, like I can't even book a trip with my kids right now for the summer. My whole summer, like I looked at my calendar, like the whole summer's booked.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I booked my last wedding, and I was like, dude, whatever's next, I don't know what's next, but I'm gonna figure it out. And it was hard for me because I'm dependent on that money. People are dependent on that money too. Like not only me, but other families are. So I spoke with my team. Everybody was like, people that work with me kind of understand kind of the way I am, the way I work. And everybody gave me the blessing, man. So we closed down the studio. And it was hard to close down the studio, man, because I worked so hard to build that studio up. I closed down the studio summer of 2015. I think it was June 1st. So
you open up the studio.
Yeah.
You close it down.
Closed down the studio, man. So I pretty much
Hold up. So you build this business up.
Mm-hmm.
You've been grinding. You build a business up. It's successful. It's not that the business is going bad because you're booked.
Yeah, I'm booked, man.
And you close. He closed the business, ladies. Yeah. He closed a successful business down. Okay, he's booked every weekend, Friday and Saturday. Yeah. And Jeff, how much? It's not cheap to get a photographer for these weddings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
Yeah, you average anything from $2,500 to $5,000 per event.
Per event.
Yeah, there's events that went way beyond that, but there's
the wedding and quince. Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar,
great business.
It is. It's a very lucrative business. Wedding and quince market will. I'm involved in that market as well, and it's kind of cool that we're talking about it because. It is very lucrative. So right now, because I'm still doing my thing in the wedding and quince market, I'm trying to understand. Whoa! So you have this successful photography business. Boom! You shut it down.
100%. And it was like actually I remember this day. I remember speaking to my wife. She's like, my wife's like always giving me that check. Like, what do you want to do? Like, what are you trying to do here? And one time she was like, what is it that you want to leave as a legacy? She asked me that question, and I was like, man, like if you ask me that question right now, I really want to become the best educator of all time. That's what those are literally my words. And I was working on a dream board, and I wrote that in big bold letters, like, Jeff, you will become the greatest educator of all time! Exclamation points. And I was like, well, she's like, if you want to do that, like, why are you still like we're in the studio? let the studio go. And I was like, damn, dude, like, really? So I did it. It took a lot of courage, a lot of guts. I told my wife, hey, our lifestyles are gonna change. Like, you ain't gonna have that extra, because, you know, as an educator, as a high school teacher, you don't make a lot of money, man.
No, you don't.
Yeah, and it's hard because, you know, when you have a family, you have 4 kids that are growing older, they want nice stuff, you know, they want to have
everybody wants a certain lifestyle.
Yeah, so I was like, hey, lives are about to change. So we ended up closing down the studio. This is like June, and I just go hard on my personal brand. I go really hard on my personal brand. I'm like, dude, I've branded so many different businesses. I've helped market probably like over 50 businesses in the last 15 years. Actually, at that time it was 12 years. I know how to market a brand. I know how to create a brand. I know how to anything from like the culture of the brand to the style, the way it looks online, the way it looks in person. I know how to do that. Like, let me do it for myself. And I grabbed my team and some of my team members and I asked them like, hey, I need your help to create. I want to create digitaljeff.com. I want to create like my own personal brand. And before they actually helped me, they went and started their own personal brand. They're like, oh, there's something here. Like, people are creating personal brands. So what I ended up doing is I went all in on myself. And at the time I had no direction of what exactly I was going to do, but I did want to become a filmmaker. I did want to make a feature film. That is the goal still. Mm-hmm. And I ended up getting hooked on this app called Meerkat. It's a live streaming app. Doesn't exist anymore. Yeah.
Because at that time, Meerkat, and you reached out to me and you told me to get on Meerkat. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. And then.
So what I ended up doing is what I was doing is every lesson that I would teach my students at school, to high school students, I would go back home. Or actually it was the reverse. Every lesson that I was going to teach my students the next day, I would teach it to my live audience on Meerkat. So I was literally the highest, I had the highest number of followers in that app for a male, right? That wasn't a celebrity. So I had a lot of traction. The founder of the app called me and he was like, hey, I want you to come work with us, be part of the team. I want you to help build the community. So I literally flew to San Francisco that summer. School was ending, and I flew to San Francisco for about 2 months, and I learned about the startup world. I was like, man, this is fucking amazing. I want to be part of this. So
the owner of the app, Meerkat, calls you.
Yeah.
Fly over to San Francisco.
Fly to San Francisco. Get to hang out with the team. Get to meet the team. I started working for Meerkat. I started building the community for Meerkat. And I think in total, I ended up working there for about 5 months remotely. I was in San Francisco. I would go to New York sometimes. And then I ended up working with Al Roker, different production companies, CW, a bunch of different companies that were new to live streaming. So anybody that was new to live streaming, I was like the person that would go as a representative to say, you see that big camera there? You're not going to use it no more. You're going to use the cell phones. iPads, this is the way we're gonna run things, and I was a mediator for that for the team. So it was a blessing for me because it exposed me to what's out there,
a different culture, bro.
Different culture, different world, different opportunities, and then I came back August and went back to teaching, and I was still working for Meerkat as a part-time, and I was teaching, and I already knew, like, dude, it's just a matter of me figuring it out, what's my calling, and I'm gonna go all in. So 2 months passed, and I finally figured out, like, this is what I'm gonna do. I always talk to my wife about, I throw a picture of my ideas.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, Susie, I'm gonna do a documentary. The documentary's gonna be called Hustle. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hustle my way to all the people that I look up to. I'm gonna try to get a face-to-face interview on camera with every person that I literally look up to. And I wrote down a list of the people I looked up to. And out of those 15 people that I looked up to, 8 of them were in New York City. All right? So, like, I'm going to book it, like, by that time Thanksgiving break was coming up. So, like, if you give me the blessing, I told my wife, if you give me the blessing, I'll go to New York for a few days during my Thanksgiving break. And I'm going to hustle my way to Gary Vaynerchuk, Casey Neistat, Steve Harrison, and the list goes on.
Those are big names.
Yeah. So she's like, "You're crazy, but go for it." So I ended up booking a one-way ticket to New York City. And I got to these people, man. I literally got to these people, except for Martin Scorsese. I haven't gotten to Martin Scorsese, but it's coming.
Okay.
This is not working project. So, fast forward, like, and I'll try to wrap this up because I know it's taking a little bit of time, but
no, it doesn't matter. Take your time. I don't care. I want to hear the story.
Yeah.
Hold on. This man, ladies and gentlemen, are you following what's going on? Shuts his successful business down. Gets a call from an owner of Meerkat to go work in San Francisco. Has an epiphany. Says, I know what I want to do. Mm-hmm. I want to go and film the people that I look up to. And we all have a list. If you write down a list of people that you look up to, it doesn't matter who it is, but you say, I want to go and speak to those people. You actually physically did that with a camera in hand. Book a one-way ticket with the blessing of Miss Castillo. Hey, yeah. Susie, shouts out to you. Because I think having a strong partner is important. A supportive partner is important.
One of the most important, if not the most important, man. It make you or break you.
So you fly. So who was the first person that you...
First person was actually Gary Vaynerchuk.
Okay. Gary V, ladies and gentlemen, shouts out to Gary V, because Gary V is one of the biggest influencers, if not the biggest influencer in the world right now.
This is back before he started.
This is probably before.
Well, he had already been on the journey, but like he had not doubled down on his personal brand. He was running businesses and doing like his personal brand on the side. Up until then, he didn't have a videographer. When I interviewed him, he didn't have a videographer. D-Rock was still like doing like side projects for him, but it wasn't like D-Rock come on board.
Right.
So I knew that Gary Vee was gonna be at a Jets game, because he goes to all the Jets games.
He's trying to buy the Jets.
Yeah, trying to buy the Jets. So I was like, dude, if I get a ticket to the Jets game, I'll find him. And I'll interview him during the Jets game. That was my mission. So I show up and I ended up getting these really good tickets. I actually got them comped, got the tickets for free. And I'm literally sitting down and I'm looking for Gary Vee, and there's like this whole time I had this idea of, what I'll do is I'll check his Snapchat, I'll see what number he's wearing, I'll stalker mode, right? And I'll be like, and then whatever jersey he's wearing, I'll just look for that. Dude, I didn't realize that you're gonna be with 80,000 people, or I don't know how big the stadium is, but like, as soon as I got there, like, dude, this is gonna be harder than I expected. And I was like, damn, I'm sitting there in the first quarter, and the Jets score, and everybody starts celebrating, and as people are celebrating, I look back, and literally Gary Vaynerchuk is like 3 or 4 rows up to me. And he sees me with my camera. He literally makes eye contact with me. I'm the only guy with a DSLR camera. And I'm like, I look at him and he's celebrating, and I put the camera towards him. Right? And he celebrates towards my camera. He like celebrating the Jets just scored a touchdown. And that literally opened up the door for me to like ask for an interview.
Bro, it sounds like destiny, man.
Mm-hmm. That's the way
Tickets get comped. He's 3 rows back from you. Mm-hmm. You got camera in hand, you look back, that's him, boom. Yeah. So what was that conversation like?
So it was the first thing he told me was like, I don't work on Sundays, man. But you got me here at a Jets game, you have a camera, you're coming all the way from I don't know where, I'm gonna do the interview for you. So he did the interview for me during halftime. And the interview was actually short. We spoke about what hustle means for him. What real hustle is, and
was he as passionate back then as he is now?
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Same guy, definitely. I've been following Gary for years.
Right.
Yeah, so he's been.
And what did it feel like for you? Because I know you're on this journey, brother. One-way ticket. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the people that you're looking up to.
I just knew that I was gonna do it, man. I just knew it, it was like, like you said, it was like destiny, like it's been written. Like I know, sometimes you just feel things. And for me, it was like I said I'm gonna do it. Why? Like I'm not gonna go to New York and not do it. Like I'm already there, so I'm gonna try my best to do it. And this is like during the winter I just started in New York, blizzarding cold, and I'm from Laredo where it's hot. 90% of the time it's hot here. I'm not used to the weather, so being out there, man, like with your camera, like literally, like the way I hustled my way to all these people was literally the same way. Like, okay, I know where they might be, or let me send an email to like a cold email, maybe get a response. Like that's the way I got to all these people. And one of the persons that I interviewed was Gerard Adams, which is now like my right hand, my main guy that helps me with all the projects that I'm working on right now, business partner, friend. And I met him. I had him on the list, and then I met him in New York that same week. And the crazy thing about this is that I had been going through a spiritual journey for a while now. And one of the stories I had been reading was on Padre Pio. I don't know if you heard of the story of Padre Pio.
Okay.
And Padre Pio is a saint in the Catholic Church. And I don't want to go deep into the story, but Padre Pio was like one of my saviors during that moment. It still is. And when I showed up to Gerard's place, he has a penthouse on the top floor of this building, and right in front of this building, he gives me the address for me to show up for the interview, is the chapel for Padre Pio. And I was like, damn, that's a sign right there. It's like, because I showed up to the interview. He told, so this is funny, man. So I had a mutual friend that knew him. This guy mentioned, like, hey man, I got the best videographer from Texas in New York. He's only here for the day. And he wants to interview you. He wants to put you on his documentary. And he's like, I can't, I'm sick. I'm sick. And then we kept going back and forth. Eventually he's like, I'll give you guys 10 minutes. All right, I'll give you guys 10 minutes. So we ended up showing there. So I was a little bit nervous. Like, do I have my mics ready? Do I have my camera ready? Do I have it? Like, the whole technical side of things. And
like when you got here this morning, I was like, damn it. Did I get everything? So you're nervous.
So I show up to the front of the building and Padre Pio's there, man. And I'm like, dude, I got this. Game over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do.
Padre Pio's on my side.
Yeah, so I do the whole interview. It turns out that Gerard, at the end of the interview, he's like, hey man, so where are you from, dude? You sound like you're from Texas. He's like, yeah, I'm actually from Laredo, Texas. He's like, dude, my grandpa's from Brownsville, Texas. So we connect right away. We become friends, and I end up shooting the rest of the documentary like the next probably the next 10 days. The majority, like 90% of the documentary is already shot. I'm waiting for Martin Scorsese to say yes.
Right.
And I come back to Laredo, and I go to my principal, and I'm like, hey, like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna pursue my documentary, and I'm gonna make my documentary happen. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, I'm like giving you my notice that I'm quitting. And this time this is my only income, man. I have no other source of income.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, my principal tells me, well, you're gonna lose your teacher certificate for 5 years, and you're no longer gonna be able to. You're gonna leave in a very bad time. Like, this is middle of the school year, man. Like, think about this. And like, I already did.
Yeah.
I already know what I'm doing. So I knew that the opportunity was right there. I really wanted to finish the documentary, and I like, dude, I've gone so far, man. Like, I've gone so far. I'm so close to doing this. I can't stop right now. And I don't know if you ever heard the story of the concept of like burning the boats. So this conquistador shows up to, I think it's like Guatemala, and he's about to he's a conquistador, shows up with all the sailors and stuff like that, and he tells the sailors like, hey, burn the boats. And he's like, what do you mean burn the boats? Like, yeah, we're not leaving till we conquer this island or we die. There's two options we have. So
conquer or die.
Conquer or die. So they burned the boats. So I felt that day that I was talking to my principal, like quitting my job, that was me burning the boats. I was like, dude, that's it. I'm either gonna make it
or I'm not. I'm gonna fail.
I'm gonna fail. So, and this is with the pressure of my family. Like, dude, I gotta feed my family, bro. You know what I mean? Like, so like, I'm gonna make it. There's no like, I'm gonna figure it out. I've done this before. As far as like, I know how to make money like in so many different ways. I know I can do this. So I ended up getting a call from one of my friends. He's actually here from Laredo, and he's like, hey Jeff, I'm gonna be going to Miami. I want to book you for this event. Are you available? Like, I am available. I actually just quit my job.
Calendar's wide open.
So he books me. It's a really good paying gig. It holds me over for about a month. And while I'm in Miami, it's New Year's Eve. I'm with my family, and I take my wife, and my kids, and we're the New Year's for 2016. And I get a call, and it's Gerard. And Gerard's like, hey Jeff, Remember that interview you shot with me? Is there any way you can give me a clip of it so I can post for my audience? And I was like, gee, like, well, I was like, hey, Gerard, like, no offense, man, but it's New Year's, like, New Year's Eve, like, I'm gonna be with my family. Like, I would do it for you if it was like any other day, but it's New Year's Eve, like, you know, I gotta be with my family. And he's like, man, like,
this dude's working on New Year's Eve. Yeah. Gerard Adams, shouts out to you,
yeah,
dude.
G's always in the grind, man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look, man, I want to celebrate my family. Whenever I'm done celebrating, whether that's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you know how New Year's normally goes on to like sun up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whenever I'm done celebrating, I'm gonna work on your video. And this is me, like, this is not commission. This is me just, you know, I'm gonna do it as a good favor.
Right.
Good intentions. So family goes to sleep around 4 a.m. My kids are asleep. My wife's asleep, and I start working on this project. And I go all the way to 8 a.m. Finish the video, send him the video, and he calls me around midday. He's like, "Man, that's the best video I've ever seen, bro. Like, that's literally like, how can we do it to work on the project together?" And by that time, he knew what my documentary was about. So he's like, "Dude, I want to be the executive producer in your documentary. I'll fund your project. Like, I'll do this." And so the next week, I fly up to New York. We meet in person, and we're talking about how to make this project bigger, how to make it bigger than just a documentary, all right? And we came up with this concept called Leaders Create Leaders, where we would continue, it would be an ongoing project, a never-ending project where we have hundreds of interviews of the people that are really creating impact in this world right now.
Yeah.
And we created the show Leaders Create Leaders. We're at the end of season 3 now. We've interviewed over 50 leaders so far. The initial goal was to get 16. So we're past that now.
Yeah.
And every season we just get more and more traction. I think we're up to 20 million views now on the show, and it's got picked up by Entrepreneur Magazine, got picked up by Inc. Magazine. It's been featured on Forbes. So it's just like, that's been the journey, man, these last 3 years, traveling the world, and I ended up moving my family to New York. Right now we're trying to relocate to LA, which is going to be, we're going to open up an incubator like this in LA as well. So yeah, man, that's been like the gist of the story as best I can summarize this.
Brother. Wow, yeah, how exciting, man! Yeah. That is so freaking exciting. Congratulations, brother.
Thanks, man.
And brother, that is. I couldn't have thought of a better. You know, when I was thinking of having you on the program and reaching out to you, and I just thought we were going to talk about, you know, hey Jeff, you know but man, this story is just so freaking uplifting, bro. It is, for anybody out there who is watching and wondering, you know, about chasing your passion and chasing your dreams and it being the wrong choice, absolutely not. This man is a testament to that statement. Follow your passion, follow your dreams, chase your dreams, be a dream chaser, but be productive.
Be productive, man. Be productive.
Don't be busy, be productive.
People get caught up being busy, and I learned that the hard way, man. You know, there's a lot of things I would do differently in these last 15 years that I've been doing this. Is that I've been a little bit more selective on the project that I want to work on. So what I advise, like, especially if you're an artist, and I'm talking specifically to an artist here. If you're like a videographer, or you paint, or you're a photographer, whatever. What I advise, and I learned this when I was teaching high school students. I was like, what you want to do is you want to write down an idea that's coming from your heart, coming from your mind. Write that idea down, whatever that. It could be like, oh, I want to do a photo shoot with a motorcycle and, like, you know, hot girls everywhere, something like that. Write that idea down, and that same day, try to make that idea happen. That same day. Don't wait a day. Don't wait 2 days. Like, figure out what you got to do to make that photo happen, and show it to the world. Like, you know, it's like a little turnaround.
Yeah.
And practice doing that over and over until you figure out exactly what you're good at. You figure out what you like doing, and how you stand different, you know, from the rest of the world. Because that's really what I would have done differently. Like, instead of me doing, like, I would have probably done like 100 music videos by now if I would have just kept going with, oh, I know, like, I have a gift for music videos, you know, like, I should just, and then instead of me booking like weddings, which is cool. If you love weddings, like, write that down, you know, and go shoot a wedding, you know. So it's just a matter of you understanding what your gift is, what's the reason God brought you here to this world, and what can you really bring out to this world that you really want to bring out to this world, man. Because we live in a time where it's real easy to get caught up. It's so easy to get caught up, man. Like there's photographers that I meet that I'm like, oh man, like I shot. Cause there's one year that I shot 55 weddings. It's the most weddings I shot in 1 year, and my life was a mess, right? And they're aiming to shoot as much as possible. But I'm like, is that really what you want to put on your portfolio? Is that really what you want to do 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Is that really what you want to be doing? And if the answer is no, then try to minimize that and work on your ideas, work on what you're really passionate about, because you're not going to have any regrets, man. Guaranteed. You're not going to have any regrets if you work on what you're really passionate about. Money and more money on the table, you're going to be happy.
In terms of your routine, your daily routine, and something that you would share, I know you said, hey, write an idea down. You get an idea in your head, write it down, act on that idea, and try to make that idea a reality. Is that what you do on a daily basis? What else do you do on a daily to kind of keep you motivated, positive? Because there's a lot of negativity out there, man. I mean, I talk about it, with my family all the time. I talk about it with my daughter and my wife, that they need to audit. Andy Frizella, shouts out to Andy, is one of the guys that I follow, and
love the guy.
Love Andy, and
he's actually one of my mentors right now.
Brother, you are so blessed, because I've been following Andy before MFCEO got really seeing his progression and seeing his growth, but listening always to the message. And one of the messages that he has is audit your circle.
Audit your circle, man.
And your circle can be your timeline. How do you block out a lot of this negative stuff from entering your productive, positive daily?
So I could go down the rabbit hole on this one too, but I'll try to keep it simple from like my philosophy. And at the end of the day, I don't really have a philosophy, but what I tend to do is one thing I mentioned earlier, like you gotta say no to like the majority of things that comes your way. And it's not that you're being selfish, it's not that you want to help out other people. It's just that you really have to be intentional with your time. You have to figure out like, okay, like if I want to hit XYZ goal, the only way I'm going to hit that goal if I actually spend my time doing XYZ. And that could be so many different things for you, right? But if you don't value your time, and that's one thing I've learned the last few years, man, you have to value your time. And you have to value your time, you have to value your circle, like you said. Really pick the people that are not only going to be in your circle, but are going to be in your corner, man. They're going to be fighting for that same mission, that same why. Everybody on your team needs to be aligned with what the message is that they like. For example, like me and Gerard, like anybody that we bring on board, like not that we vet them out, but we make sure that they are passionate as much as we are about our mission to helping out, inner city kids, about telling inspirational stories. If they're passionate about that, then they could be part of the team. But if they're like, and it's cool to be into your own thing, and I value that, when people are into their own thing. But it's hard to bring them into the circle, into the team, to the corner, because if you're not all, rowing the same way, man, you're never gonna get anywhere.
Right.
And the other thing is, and this is something I learned the last couple of years as well, is that you have to value your own physical body, man. It's your physical body is as important as anything. Just the way you value, like you go to church on Sundays to take care of your spirit, or you pray daily, or you meditate, whatever it is that you're doing, you value your spirit, you value your body. A lot of people, you get to the age of 25, 26, and you start working out was for like when I was younger.
Yeah.
And the truth is not, man. Like you're brought into this world, and I think if you value your mind, you value your brain, your physical being, it's gonna show in everything you do, man. Like your posture is different, the energy that you have everywhere you go is different, And back then, I used to be prescribed Adderall. Back in 2013, that's like 2012, all the way to 2015, 16. And what happened is I was taking the doctor was like, hey man, like you have a lot on your plate, you should take Adderall. Like this is it's gonna help you focus on your task. And I took it as like, oh man, like this guy knows what he's talking about. And you know, I'm not gonna talk bad about my doctor, right? But it was actually a thing that affected me because I was no longer being conscious of like my physical health, my physical, like I think it did a lot of damage to me in the few years, and I realized that, and I stopped cold turkey. Like it's one thing I realized, like dude, I'm never gonna take that again. Like why was I doing that for me? Why was I doing that to myself? And I ended up going to like now figuring out how I'm gonna get energy, how am I gonna feel good throughout the day without taking, you know,
medication, right?
Medication. And Adderall is a strong drug, man. I don't know if you've taken Adderall before, but it's like 10 cups of coffee, man, in one shot.
Yeah.
You know, you feel good all day.
Well, 10 cups of coffee? Really?
Yeah.
In a pill?
Yeah. So, don't take it though.
No.
But a lot of college students abuse it. I was at a certain point abusing it.
Right, to stay focused or get more energy and whatnot.
So I had to figure out these last few years, like, how do I maintain that level of performance without taking any performance enhancing drugs, you know?
Right.
Like any medicines or whatever. So I look back into what my grandma taught me. My grandma taught me about herbs and living a different type of lifestyle, eating different. The two things that my grandma told me before she passed away, of all things, man, she sat me down. She's like, Jeff, I want you to promise me two things that you're gonna do for the rest of your life. And she said, one thing is I don't want you to eat past 7 p.m., which is super hard, right? And the second thing is like only eat meat twice or less a week. And I'm like, man, grandma, you're crazy, grandma. But at the moment, this is 5 years ago when she passed away. She had been my doctor growing up, man. She was the one that, of course, gave me like, you know, when I
Échate Vicks,
and like, you know, she would anytime that I was sick, like I wouldn't like, hey mom, let's take me to the doctor. Be like, hey mom, like I need to go with grandma, like you know.
Yeah.
So grandma would take care of me, and it was always like a treatment. She always had a treatment for me,
right.
Either a drink, a shot, like you know.
Yeah,
all these
limón,
herbs.
azúcar,
So
te curaba con un huevo. Yeah.
So that was a way for me to not only like. So I went in that journey, man. Like I went down the rabbit hole with like learning about the way your cells work, the way, just the way your digestive system works, the way you create energy, how you obtain energy from the sun, from plants. And it's led me now to I haven't eaten meat in 7 months. The last 7 months I haven't touched meat at all.
What?
Yeah, I eat mostly raw vegetables and fruits. Yeah, and it all came from my grandma, man. Like she kind of like fed me that, like she planted that idea.
So you're a vegan now.
I'm a vegan, yeah. So I don't like calling myself vegan just because you know I still use like a leather jacket, leather shoes, and stuff like that. But yeah,
there's a style to it.
But as far as the performance wise, I feel 100%. Like last night, like the last 2 days, I finished till about 5 a.m. Yesterday I finished at 3 a.m. And I'm up here early in the morning. I feel good, man. You know, no coffee. I just started today a 10-day fast. Today's my first day fasting. And the fasting, the way you do it is you just drink water. You don't need anything. You don't drink any juices, no minerals in your body. Just drink water, straight up water. And you do that for as many days as you can, right? So I've done multiple fasts. The last couple of years I've been fasting like at least once a month. I'll fast like for a full day. Or I'll keep going, you know, 2 days, 3 days.
How hard was it to wean off? Because, you know, we're meat eaters down here in Laredo.
Yeah.
I mean, carne asada.
Yeah,
it's tough. And you're in town, so you know, you're driving by Taco Palenque, brother.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of. I mean, how was it like just kind of getting off of the meat?
When you put your mind to it, man.
It becomes a mental thing.
It's a mental thing. Everything's a mental thing. So for me, it was like, so the last like message that I got, like this is 2-3 years after being on this journey of trying to feel better, trying to perform better, trying to like wean off coffee, wean off caffeine. I ended up reading 3 books last year. First book I read was by Steve Jobs. I told you to read it.
Yes.
You should read it too. If you haven't read
it's on my list.
The autobiography of Steve Jobs. I read, actually read 4 books. Be Here Now by Ram Dass, and Autobiography of Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, best book of all time, besides the Bible. And then I read The Story of Nikola Tesla. And all those books had something in common. They had a few things in common. One of the things I had in common was like all these people I look up to. Right, either they're in the spiritual way, or they're just like Steve Jobs. Man, come on, like I know too many
just
people.
Innovation and
stuff like that.
Mind.
So I read these stories to be able to learn from these people, right? And these are not easy reads, man. You gotta really sit down and digest like the information. But one of the common denominators from all these books was that all these people that were in that journey to be able to create something that's bigger than you. They're all on a plant-based diet. And these are books that were written like Paramahansa Yogananda's from 1920s. Tesla, I forgot from Tesla's from like probably the early 1900s.
Right.
Steve Jobs from the 60s all the way to up until recently. Ram Dass just released a documentary on Netflix. But he started his journey back in the 60s. He's a professor from Harvard that quit his teaching job to pursue his mission,
his passion,
his passion, and they all were plant eaters, man. And I was like, wow, like why didn't I see this before? So when I finished reading the story of Nikola Tesla, I was like, that's it, like I got the message, like
this is what I gotta do.
I told my wife, we were at Posh Sushi Lounge in Laredo, and I told her like, hey, I'm not gonna eat meat again. That's it, never gonna eat meat again. She's like, nah, you're not gonna last. Like I'm telling you, I don't like it's it. I want to try it out. Let's see how it works.
My mind's made up.
If I feel great, I'm gonna keep going. If I feel I'm getting sick or something, then obviously I'm gonna take precautions with that. So I haven't eaten meat in 7 months now. Yeah, no animal products, nothing, no cheese,
fish,
no fish,
no nothing. So it's just all plant-based.
All plant-based.
Plant-based diet.
It's hard. It's hard. It is hard because especially here in Laredo, you want to go out. I go out with my family. There's only a few options I can eat, like fries. Yeah, and
You're just watching everybody scarf down that hamburger. So well, hey man,
but I feel great though.
Hats off to you, dude.
Yeah, I don't see the meat as food anymore. I used to think that animals were. It was one thing that's funny, man. Like I had this realization, like, and I'm 34 years old, right? And I'm like, actually I was 33 at the time, but I was like. Man, like I used to think animals were brought into the world, like God brought them to this world so we can eat them. Like that was my mentality. Yeah. Like I used to think like that was our food, and it's not that. Like that's a man-made thought. And so yeah, man. So it's been.
I mean, look, you've been surviving without meat 7 months. It's a very realistic option. It's not. I mean, that type of diet, I mean, has been around for
forever,
for ages.
Yeah,
and so it's good to see
it's
that.
A history book, man.
I mean, you look healthy. You look. I mean, shit. I mean, your energy. Just everything. And I think that what you've touched on, man, is that from everything that we're putting into our body. Taking care of our minds, spiritually, physically, all of that stuff. I mean, it all impacts your productivity.
Productivity, man. What you bring out to the world is not just like how technically good you are at something. It's beyond that. It's like you can't really put a finger on like what's going to influence your next project. It's everything from the food you eat to the people you talk to, your circle, your body, the way you feel, and your spirit, man. So. It's all one. And I'll take it a step further. So on Friday, I'm flying out to Usha village in Honduras. It's a village in the middle of the jungle. And it was founded by a guy named Dr. Sebi. Mm-hmm. This is a passion project. It's not commissioned. And I'm going to do a short documentary on holistic health, on how to go about curing yourself from lupus, from cancer, from AIDS, from pretty much any disease that the Western medicine can't cure. Usha village is a village that's been curing people for about 20 years now. And about a year ago, the founder, Dr. Sebi, amazing guy, he passed away. And the reason he passed away was because he was locked up. They locked him up in Guatemala because he was crossing from Honduras to Guatemala, right on the border, and he was carrying cash on him. You know that's the way. Not an enormous amount of cash, but he was carrying cash on him, and they wanted to know where he was bringing that money from. So they ended up arresting him. They sat him in the jail cell. They didn't rot there. He pretty much passed away because of they just weren't helping him out. They didn't get water, they didn't get food, and eventually he passed away. But I'm gonna go tell that story. I'm gonna go reveal that story, talk about that story. I'm gonna go talk to his daughters, to his wives. I'm gonna talk to the people in the village that are taking treatment at the moment, and I'm myself gonna get some treatment. While I'm there. So
cool.
Yeah.
So, is there cure for cancer? Cure for
it's a cure for tumors. Like you have a tumor.
Because we often hear about these stories, man. That there's a cure for this stuff, and that Western influence from the corporate level is denying, or even our government is denying the spread of this knowledge or this information or these cures, because, well, at the end of the day, it's
trillion
big.
dollar industry.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't want to get into that.
Right. But I mean,
it is. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go experience it and see it from my own eyes and document the whole thing. And I want to be in the jungle for about 10 days, and then I'll be back and I'll report what happened. But yeah, man, So this is crazy. This is my testimony on my diet. So ever since the 7th grade, I've had allergies that no doctor has been able to fix. I went to all doctors, and all took me to, nobody has been able to fix me all these allergies. Up until 33 or 32 years old, I was always with a stuffy nose. My sinus was really bad, always congested. And when I switched to this plant-based diet, I've yet to gotten sick. Knock on wood.
They're gone.
Sinus is gone. Allergies are gone. And I'm like, dude, what's next? Give me more of this.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do, man. So another thing I've been doing is the fasting. I recommend that if anybody wants to really cleanse their body, do a 5-day water fast. And you can do your research, right?
So we drink water all day long.
You just drink water. Every time you get hungry, you just drink a glass of water. And I can go into the details of how to do it, but I don't know if we have time for that. But you can do your research on it. Just do your research before you go on this. Right. You can read the book. It's called The Miracles of Fasting by Dr. Bragg.
Okay.
It's a great book. It tells you all the benefits.
And by doing these diets, you feel health-wise now.
So
how's it impacted your creativity though?
I was about to talk about that. So one of the main things that happened with me is I had this brain fog. After the age of 22, 23, I started having this brain fog, and I knew it, man. I knew that I felt different. I didn't know what it was. That's one of the reasons I went to the doctor. He diagnosed me with ADD, and it wasn't ADD. It was what I was eating. I'll go into a little bit of the science behind it. So what you eat creates this biofilm. This biofilm is filled with mucus and bacteria and parasites, and it lives throughout your whole body. Your brain has it, your intestines have it, your organs have it, and it's about anything from 10 pounds to 20 pounds of your consumption, your actual body is actual biofilm. Mm-hmm. It's not good for your body. It's not good for your body to have this. So over a period of 20 years of eating all these meats with pesticides and GMOs and all this, your body starts getting to a point where it can't detoxify anymore. It starts storing this biofilm in different parts of your body, and one of the first places where it gets affected is your gut. That's why you see 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds finally start getting a gut. Right. They can work out all week and they can't get a six-pack. It's because of what they're eating. And then the second thing is you start getting the brain fog. And part of this treatment with Dr. Sebi is that you eat this plant. It's called the duck plant, right? You eat the duck plant, and for the next 8 hours after you eat the duck plant, is you're just throwing up mucus. This biofilm that's been stored in your brain, it's been stored in your body, is just coming out, man. Just really just coming out. It's one of the things I'm looking forward to, actually. And a lot of people report actually that they actually have a sensation of the mucus trying to come out through the mouth and through the ears. And some of them, for about a week to 2 weeks, the mucus is just moving around and trying to get out because it's been stored in the parts of the brain for such a long time. And once that is released, man, you have this mental clarity, like the mental clarity has a little kid, man. So that's one of the creativity. It all comes from the way you feel, yeah. You know, so looking forward towards that, yeah.
So a plant that can,
and it's only in that part of
enhance your creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Brother, I'm so excited about this documentary for you.
Yeah,
and
man.
not only that, but also your project, the Leaders Create Leaders.
Yeah, we're now on season 4. If you have time.
Where do people find it?
If you go on YouTube, just type in Leaders Create Leaders, or type in Gerard Adams.
Okay.
And this should be the first video that pops up. And there's a whole playlist. There's 3 different playlists: season 1, season 2, and season 3. And it's all inspirational, motivational stories of how regular people beat the system up.
Yeah.
You know,
So you're going into season 4. You're working on the documentary. You got a name for it? Yeah.
No documentary. No name for the documentary, but it's gonna come, man. Yeah.
Once you eat the plant, and then that creativity.
Yeah. So I mean, so it's funny because normally you always have like for example when I was doing Hustle New York, I knew the word hustle was like a trending thing. It was going to be a trending thing like these next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I don't have that intuition of like what's going to be. Actually, I do have one. I don't want to say it yet though. I'll tell you after.
After.
Maybe I can come on later on and tell you about
Absolutely,
it.
brother. You're always welcome here.
So, but yeah, man. I actually thought about it yesterday. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with an open heart, open mind, and just document. I'm not gonna try to be like biased on like what I want to tell. I don't want to tell the cancer story if the cancer story is not there. I don't want to tell a story about lupus. Or actually, you know, one weird thing that happened to me is like I just spoke to one of my former students.
Mm-hmm.
She found out I was in town. She called me up and she was like, "Hey, Jeff, like, just want to tell you, like, my mom's going through lupus." And I was like, "Man, that's crazy. Like, I actually know about a cure for it." And like Western medicine doesn't tell you there's a cure for it. You can live with lupus for a long time, but you can't cure it. And Usha Village in Honduras tells you there's a cure for it. So I told her about Usha Village. She's planning on taking her mom now for about a month over there, and we'll see, man. But yeah, man, it's I'm gonna tell the story that I find.
Yeah, whatever you find, open heart, open mind. That's the only way I think to tell the most realistic, true story, unbiased. That's 100%. Cool, brother. I'm so excited for you, man, and super thankful that you took time out of your productive day.
Yeah, productive day.
To share a little bit of your history and everything that's popping with you, man. I think it's an inspiration to anybody who's been able to catch this stream, who will be able to see this video afterwards, of everything that you've been talking about, and use that knowledge and use that experience that you have, that you've shared with us to propel them to another level. I know I'm ready to, get out of here and go do something. I mean, I don't know what, but I'm going to go do something. Yeah. I'm going to just figure it out. But yeah, man, thank you so much for being here. If people want to link up with you.
Yeah. If you just type in Digital Jeff on social media, I'm most active on Instagram. I've been off the Facebook, just because, there's a lot of things going on with Facebook.
Right.
And, but Instagram's owned by Facebook, so it's kind of weird. But so find me on Facebook. Find me on Instagram. Send me a DM. I normally respond to your DM within a day or two. Try myself to be productive, not stay busy with the phone, So,
Right.
But I'll respond to everybody.
Absolutely. Hey, well, at Digital Jeff on Instagram, make sure you connect with Mr. Jeffrey Castillo. He is doing big things, a native of Laredo, and our very first guest on Grow Yourself.
Grow yourself, baby.
Grow it. Grow yourself. Learn from this man right here. Take it, build, and keep on growing. That's it for us, man. We're done here. Jeff.
Thanks so much.
Brother. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, and appreciate you for watching.